So, when someone is speaking with you and they say something that you can tell that they're either angry with you or they are angry with something, or they really, really meant whatever they said in that moment. It's like maybe someone is using really nice words, but the way that they're saying it, you can tell they're not really being nice. There's this like spiteful undertone to them. So obviously, if you can tell when other people are doing it, other people can also tell when you're doing it. And what's going on there is that when we're speaking these particular words, while we're in like an energetic state, meaning that we're feeling angry, or we've been harboring resentment towards someone, or we're feeling particularly spiteful and we want to get someone back, whatever. Those energies, like that resentment, that spitefulness, that anger or disappointment, sadness, whatever, those energies are what we pick up on within each other when we're speaking. So yes, you hear the words, but you also feel the energy of what's being conveyed. So I have had moments in my life where I said something, and I know that I said it, the words themselves weren't really the issue. It was how I said it, who I was within when I said the thing, that afterwards I felt ashamed. I was ashamed of myself for what I had been expressing in that moment, but not so much for what I'd been expressing, but more for what I'd been harboring and allowing within myself that led up to that moment where it came out, where I, in that moment, allowed myself to spew the poison that I'd been building up inside of myself. And I decided at some point that I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be in a situation where I have built up so much energy over something that when I speak it taints my words, that someone feels uncomfortable, that someone feels like I'm directing this energy at them, that they have to feel like they have to take that on. So I decided that, okay, I need to find a way to stop this. And the simplest point that I started off with was, if I'm in an energetic state, if I'm angry, if I'm spiteful, if I'm thinking about how much I don't like someone while I'm busy speaking with them or speaking with someone else or whatever it is, I will rather say nothing. I just keep my mouth shut. I make sure that, first of all, I'm not going to spew any poison out. That moment is an opportunity for me to recognize that I have actually been building up some nasty shit within myself. I need to deal with it and not let it infect other people, not let it taint my relationships with the people in my life. So that's step one. Don't say anything when you're feeling particularly emotional about something. Just keep your mouth shut. Just don't even go there. Rather, if you have to say something, say, just please give me a few minutes, or can I please talk about this tomorrow? Right now is not the best time for me. Okay, just let me work through whatever I need to work through first, please. All right, so back to the point of that moment is an opportunity to see what you've been creating. That would be kind of like step two, that point of reflection, that process of looking within to see, okay, in what moments have I been allowing what thoughts to build up to create this very strong emotional energy within me? because obviously this doesn't come from nowhere. This comes from small moments where I've been allowing particular thoughts that have a particular emotional energy experience attached to them, that now have been building up slowly but surely over time to get to this point where it becomes this very strong emotional feeling when it gets triggered within me. So like when I see someone who I've been harboring resentment towards and building these thoughts over time, or if an event happens that triggers anger within me, then it's like all of those little moments that have been building up slowly over time suddenly compound and become this one big, huge, energetic explosion. So use that moment where you realize, okay, there's something going on, as a gift to reflect, as an opportunity to learn more about yourself, to see the moments that you've missed of the thoughts that you have been allowing that have led up to that moment of having that intense emotional energy. So that process practically means, okay, I need to identify specifically what kinds of thoughts, what is the nature of the thoughts, who is involved in these thoughts, what is involved with these thoughts, what is the feel of them. Get to know them in an objective way so that you can you can create little red flags for yourself, so that if you feel this way, or if you are thinking these particular words in a thought, or if you are thinking about that particular person or this particular event, know that in those kinds of scenarios, it is very possible that you are accessing a particular emotional energy and building up towards an explosion. So when you realize that you have been having these thoughts or feeling this way, then what's important is to have a correction, have a plan of action for you to take, where you know, okay, if I have these kinds of thoughts, or if I feel this particular way, then I am going to stop for a moment. I'm going to remind myself that this is not who I want to be. I'm going to remind myself that rather than focusing on the problems, I'm going to focus on solutions. So, okay, let me focus on solutions now. What can I do instead? So that's one example of a corrective action that you can take instead of following that particular train of thought that's going to lead you to that emotional state, or that's going to contribute towards building towards an explosive emotional state in the future. All right. So bottom line is that these moments may feel intense and they may feel like you hate yourself, but shift the focus to what can you learn from it? How can you use that moment to reflect and to grow and to be better next time, or even be better in that moment, be better now. You notice that this is you're going into this dark place inside of yourself, or you're going into this particular emotional state that you don't want to be in, that you know is going to lead to things that you don't want to experience, going to lead to breakdowns in relationships. Don't go there. Don't do it. Take a moment, rather pause, stop, choose a different path. And as simple as it sounds, it is that simple. It's just not always that easy to do in real life. But it really, really is that simple. You just have to force yourself to do it. And I mean it. You have to force yourself to go against your nature, because we have created ourselves this way, to be nasty, to have these emotional energy build-ups, to be spiteful, to be resentful. So we have to unlearn that and teach ourselves a new way. If you found my video supportive, you can support me on Patreon. If you have any questions or you'd like me to cover specific topics, then please let me know in a question, in a comment, or in a direct message. Otherwise, That's it for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.